What's up, guys? Parker Talks is back. Today we are going to be doing my predictions for the week 3 of the college football season. The SEC is starting their season in week 3, and so I'm going to be bumping my predictions from 5 to 10 games. So let's get this started. So like I always do, I will go over the games that are postponed for this week. We have Georgia State, Charlotte postponed, also Tulsa, Arkansas State, USF, and FAU, and also North Texas and Houston just can't get a break. Their first 3 games that they have tried to schedule have all been postponed. Also, the Notre Dame versus Wake Forest game was postponed to December, and they were afraid that this game was going to be canceled, which would have been the first postponement of a game for, a team that actually has a legitimate shot of getting to the playoff. And also, my overall record for predicting games is 7-2. I have only predicted 9 games because one of those games, the Houston-Baylor game from last week, was postponed. So right now, I'm looking at 7-2. First up, we have number 23 Kentucky at number 8 Auburn. Now, both of these teams are going to be great teams this year, I think, and Auburn's actually a 7.5-point favorite in this game as well. Honestly, I'm going to keep it at that. I'm going to have Auburn around winning by like 8 points, maybe 7 points in this game. So definitely it's going to be close on the over-under. Both of these coaches on these teams, Mark Stoops of Kentucky and then Gus Malzahn of Auburn, both have solidified their status as coach after some of the few past years for these teams have been a little rough. But I see both of these teams doing well. I see Auburn winning this game. Particularly because it's at home. Bo Nix is going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC after an incredible freshman season last year. And Terry Wilson, on the other side for Kentucky, can definitely keep it very close. He's a great quarterback as well. Next up, we have number 24 Louisville going to number 21 Pittsburgh. Now, Pittsburgh is already 2-0 this season, and they are a hard team to bet against in the ACC. But then you have Louisville. They lost last week to Miami in front of their home crowd. Their offense looked great with Michael Cunningham and Tutu Atwell and Javion Hawkins all doing key roles on their offense. But their defense can't bring up those big stops. And what I need to see in this game for Louisville is them to stop the ball so they can give that ball back to their offense so they can score those points, and that's how they can win games. I'm going to have to go with Louisville in an upset, but when it's Pittsburgh, it's always going to be close. The next game I have is the defending national champions, number 6 LSU, as a 16.5-point favorite against Mississippi State. Now, LSU has only 5 people returning from their offense and defense as starters from last season, but they still have those key players you always see from LSU, a great defense led by Derek Stingley Jr., and also some very athletic, tall receivers just like Jamar Chase. Now, obviously, Joe Burrow is not there, so we have Miles Brennan, who has played some snaps already for LSU. So the key question is, can he lead LSU back to a playoff? On the other side, we have the Mike Leach era at Mississippi State. Mike Leach loves to throw the ball when he was at Washington State. Now he has KJ Costello, also another Pac-12 quarterback, and Kylan Hill at running back who can also catch the ball. I'm going to see Mississippi State passing a lot this season, and even with one of the best running backs in the SEC. But I'm going to go with LSU in this game, but I think the line is a bit too high. Let's say 13 points for LSU. The next game we have is number 22 Army at number 14 Cincinnati, and Cincinnati is a 13.5-point favorite in this game. Both of these teams are two of the best teams in the non-Power 5 conferences, and even though I have UCF as my champion of all the non-Power 5 teams, Cincinnati is coming there at second for me. They are a very good team, and they can upset some of these Power 5 teams if they could play against them. Now, Army is exactly what you think they are. They love to play the option, run the ball all the time. On Cincinnati's side, Desmond Ridder, the quarterback for Cincinnati, is leading the team in passing and rushing. Not too many stats on both sides of the ball, as we have Army only having 30 passing yards, which is what you would expect so far. This is going to be a good game. It's always hard to go up against the option, but Cincinnati is at home, and Cincinnati is my second runner-up for the non-Power 5 teams. I'm going to go with Cincinnati by 10 points. Let's go to the College Game Day game this week as FSU goes to number 12 Miami. Miami had a great win against Louisville last weekend also a college game day game, as the Eric King definitely showed out in that game. And if they keep it up, if Miami keeps up on this run that they're going, they have a very substantial resume with a lot of great teams that they will play. Now, on the other side, FSU, Mike Norvell, their coach, will not be attending this game because of COVID, and they've already had a struggling season so far after losing to Georgia Tech. FSU needs to prove to me that they can be back in those years that they used to be. Right now, they're not. So right now, I'm going to go with Miami, and I think Miami is a top 10 team. Here's an under-the-radar game for this week. I have number 18 BYU as a 14.5 favorite against Troy. Now, I think Troy can definitely be ranked this season. Both of these teams are very good. On the other side, BYU already played Navy, who Navy didn't get any practice time because of COVID rules and all that, and they definitely stomped on Navy as Navy struggled to tackle. Now, they haven't played in 3 weeks since, but BYU, I'm just going to have to go with them in this game, for it is at BYU, and plus, you know, those players are a bit older than most other college students, other college football players, and so they got a little more experience, so I'm going to go with BYU in this game. Next is number 16 Tennessee going to South Carolina, as South Carolina is a 3.5-point underdog. Now, both of these teams were in opposite directions last year. Now we see Tennessee at a 16 seed for basically the preseason poll, and Tennessee needs to meet those expectations as they haven't been able to in the past few years. Tennessee has been doing better this year, but what I look at in this matchup is definitely the quarterbacks. You have Colin Hill at South Carolina, who beat the job from Ryan Hilinski. Colin Hill is from Colorado State, a transfer, and he played really well in the Mountain West Conference. We'll see how he does in the SEC. On the other side, you have Jarrett Garantano on Tennessee, as he is a starting quarterback over people like Brian Maurer on their quarterback depth chart. Garantano in his senior year definitely needs to show what he's got after all these years at Tennessee with up and down games over the past few years. Garantano needs to play better than Colin Hill in order for the Vols to win this game. I think the Vols are going to win this game by 3 points, which is very close to the line. The next game I have is number 5 Florida at Ole Miss, and Florida in this game is a 13.5-point favorite. Now, some people are calling this game as an upset game. I don't necessarily think so, but it could be closer than what the line says. Florida, I think, is going to be the best team in the East, although it will be very close in the SEC East. Kyle Trask, Kyle Pitts leading that offense for Florida, while Ole Miss probably has one of the best receivers in Elijah Moore in the SEC. The key factor for Ole Miss is this is the first season under Lane Kiffin, and it's kind of a mystery on how well they're going to do. Lane Kiffin can definitely be a good coach for the Rebels, but they need to start off strong against the Gators. I'm going to go with Florida, though, in this game, as I feel like they have too much firepower and they're just a more complete team. Next up is number 2, Alabama at Missouri, and Alabama is a 28-point favorite in this game. I feel like Alabama is going to definitely win this game. I don't know if it's going to be 28 points. Let's see, more like 25. But Alabama does have the best offense in the SEC. Even with Tua leaving to go to the NFL for Alabama, you have Mac Jones, who's had some playing time already, and he is a very good quarterback in the SEC as well. They have the best running back, Najee Harris. They have the 2 best receivers in the SEC, Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle, who are all very good players as punt returners and kick returners as well. They probably have one of the best defenses in the SEC as well, and the best defensive player, Dylan Moses, at linebacker. Don't sleep on Missouri, as they do have a good defense as well with Nick Bolton and Kobe Whiteside, though Alabama just has too many players on their team, and Nick Saban is looking for another title run in this 2020 season. But the final game I have is actually my upset of the week. I have West Virginia at number 15, Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State is a 6.5-point favorite in this game, but I have West Virginia winning. Oklahoma State, against their game in Tulsa last week, their quarterback went down, and they were still unable to get past Tulsa, and it was a close game throughout. Although they won that game with Chuba Hubbard leading the way at running back, you look at West Virginia on the other side, they played against Eastern Kentucky, a very small team, but you saw what West Virginia usually does. A lot of firepower, a lot of offense, a lot of passing, and I can definitely see that still occurring in this game as well. And West Virginia probably has a better defense than Oklahoma State. Just think of the two Stills brothers, Darius and Dante Stills, at linebackers at West Virginia. I think this is going to be a close game. I'm going to go with West Virginia in this game, as I've just seen more from West Virginia so far this season. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I love to do these predictions for you guys. Comment down below what you think about the Big Ten, and also now the Pac-12 is returning too, so now I can do my predictions on them when they are about to start. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. See ya.